Welcome everybody to day 80. Today's capstone day. I'm really excited because all of the students have been working for 2 weeks on their final capstones, and so I'm super excited for them to show off all of their hard work, all their sweat, and all their dedication that they've been putting in this past 2 weeks. I know they've been really sweating hard and working hard on this. On that note, we're gonna start with a question of the day, which this is usually like an icebreaker question of the day, and this is usually how we start our classes. And so let me go ahead and pull it up. So today it's a special day, so we have two questions of the day. So the first question of the day is describe the moment this semester when you said, wait, I'm really a developer now. I'm really a software engineer now, or something like that. And I kind of want, usually I'll kind of answer, but for this one's for you guys. And so we can go actually, we'll continue with the order of the presentations. And so we're going to go ahead and start with Lana, then we'll go to Jess, Charles, Adriana, no, Noah, and then Damon. So Lana, please take it away.
I think it was definitely when we started using React and just seeing like the local host 5173. It just really like was eye-opening, because it was like more, we could see more of the code in real time on our computer, on the screen. It was really cool. And yeah, that's it.
Cool. And we'll continue in order. Thank you so much, Lana.
I
Yes.
sorry. I definitely agree. I think my own was when I made our mini capstone. It was my credit card app. And yeah, same thing when we started building it and I finally started testing it. And it was just so cool that it actually worked. Like it was like an aha moment where it's like, oh, it freaking worked. I finally did it. But yeah, I think now it's Charles.
Uh, for me, I guess it like took longer for it to like actually hit. So like I was like, oh yeah, like feels like I was in another class because I did data science before. But then actually for the programming software, I was like when I was working at it in like a public space, and then like one of my friends came over and they were kind of asking like, oh, what are you doing? And they kind of had like no idea. Like they just seemed lost when I would just explain, oh, this is the back end or like Ruby, like trying to explain that, and they're like, oh. Oh wait, this is a skill set that I'm actually am learning and growing into, you know. So that actually like the last within the last month or so, that's when that happened. I'll pass to Adriana, I believe is the next one.
So kind of similar to Charles, mine kind of hit when we started doing our spec testing, like seeing the test like run through and being able to understand like, okay, this is what I'm doing and the code is working. It kind of like reaffirmed that I'm doing it properly and what I'm doing. And honestly, working on my capstone and working on the stylizing, it really like went from, okay, I can make a plain text application to, wow, I'm actually doing it. And it's Noah.
I think for me, it was actually recently when we did when we deployed our portfolio because that one's actually online and I was able to send it to like friends and family or whatever, and like it was just cool to see it actually all the work that we put through like throughout this whole course, like we're here and made it type of thing. So it was pretty cool to actually show people instead of like showing them on my laptop on my local host, just like sending them a link, like, yo, check this out. This is what I made. It's not amazing, but yeah, come a long way. And Damon.
So for me, I would definitely say just the whole process of building out this capstone, because this one was a real test, and this one's had me working for almost like the whole day already, even during work. So just going through this, it was like, wow, to imagine where I was back in day one to now, it's just like, dang, that's crazy. Even just showing the stuff I'm doing to my friends and they're like so surprised, thinking, oh wow, this is difficult. But once you learn it's actually getting like really, you'll understand it more.
Super cool. Thank you guys all for sharing. That's actually really, really nice to hear and really cool. And yeah, I also the other thing I want to say is like don't downplay, what you guys have been doing and what you guys know. I know it's very easy to do that, and it's something that I probably do myself. I definitely do myself all the time. But actually, like I don't want to hear you guys say like, oh, it's not amazing or it's just this, because it isn't just that. If it was just this, then go to some random friend of yours even or a stranger and be like, hey, can you tell me what this is, or can you tell me how to do that? And it obviously isn't just that. You guys should be very proud, and I'm really proud of all you guys. Cool. So next question, kind of follow up or on a different note, is imagine your project becomes a startup tomorrow. What's the first job title, or what's like the first job that you would hire for? And I think this one's a really interesting. Uh, I guess, and the other thing I'll kind of put a little bit of context is like obviously besides yourself, like what is the first thing you would hire for? Would it be like another software engineer? Would it be a product manager, or like whatever it may be? So yeah, and we'll go ahead and continue in that same order. So Lana, please take it away.
I hmm. So my website is mostly for people in Guam to use. And I think it would be really cool if I could hire people from different areas to, because the data is hard coded in the back end. It would be really cool for them to input data for their location and have it run for other people as well. I think that would be really cool. Yeah.
I think for me, I would want a project manager just because I would really like someone to tell me what, instead of having like a Kanban board, they could manage the Kanban board for me. And I'll be like, okay, I'll do this, and this. Because then I could trust my abilities to figure out how to code. But then if there's someone to be like, no, you're doing too much, go back and do this. That's what I need. Um, yeah, Charles.
Uh, for my app, since I don't know what they're exactly called, but like, the people that collect data, like, oh, how do you think it like feedback improve, or like, not like a social media person, but someone to get like data out and go collect it and come back like feedback, or what would you like to see next on your next project? I think that would be like a good thing, because mine's kind of my capstone is kind of like productivity. So like can use it from a day-to-day basis, but like I'm trying to also think of what features to add on for the next steps. Next one would be Adriana.
For me, I would definitely hire another software engineer so that I have someone coding with me and just like reminding me like, hey, um, you forgot tilde, or hey, you forgot, this is just small things that other people catch that sometimes you forget and it completely breaks your code. So having another set of eyes to look at your code and figure out where it's breaking or where you need to go next would be great. And Noah.
So my capstone's like a service base. So I definitely need some expert in the my service, I guess. And then I would also want to hire a marketing expert just to market my business uh to the best, to its potential. And choose Damon.
Honestly, I would say the same thing as Adriana, and I hire another software engineer to work alongside me because me myself, I do make a lot of errors, and I have some people catch the errors for me, and I that really is a lifesaver. So yeah.
I agree with pretty much everything I want to say everyone said. I think we had that question of the day where it's like, if money wasn't a problem, what you would be doing, or what would you be doing? And my answer is literally exactly this, but I would just hire like probably like five people right off the bat. Whether it's a product engineer, another software engineer, marketing, like all that different stuff. I think it's so valuable, and it'd be helpful to have other people to help us out with that. Cool. But so on that note, let's go ahead and take a step back, or I don't know, let's start with our presentations, I guess. So once again, I just kind of want to welcome everybody. So we're the Code School of Guam, and once again, today is demo day or presentation, capstone presentation day. And so over the next maybe 45 minutes to an hour or so, you'll see kind of how this last 16 to 18 weeks of blood, sweat, and semicolons turned into these real products. And so I'm super excited for all of the students to show off what they've been doing. And so we are going to be going in alphabetical order. First up, we have Alana Cruz. Lana, please, or Lana. Lana, please feel free to share your screen and you can take it away.
Okay, here we go. All right. Hi day, everybody. My name is Alana Cruz, and I'm very excited to show you guys the application that I created. My website is called Indecisive, and its purpose is to help users decide what kind of food they want to eat when they're not craving anything in particular. So the reason why I chose to create a website like this is because I'm a very indecisive person, and I have trouble choosing what I want to eat all the time. And I feel like that's an issue that a lot of people have. When somebody asks you, "Oh, what do you feel like eating?" A lot of the times, like your mind goes blank because there's just so many options out there. And so my website tackles that issue directly. And yeah, you know what? I'm feeling a little hungry right now, so let's check out this foods quiz. Yeah, I have so many features on the homepage that you can choose from. So in our food quiz, we'll get it started. Here we go. We can choose a category first. So I think I want to go with an entree. And then it'll ask us, oh, what kind of cuisine you want? These all look really good. So I think I'm just going to skip that question. It'll give me the food options for all of those. And maybe I want to do like a pasta, seafood, noodles, vegetarian maybe. That's good. Hot or cold dish, you know what? Both sound good. Any protein? Maybe none for one of the dishes. I don't know. All of these look really good. Yeah. And there's a flavor profile. These look good. Maybe I'll just select all of these. They all look so good. So do I have a preferred cooking method? Not really. We could skip that. And at the end of the quiz, it shows you all of your suggestions. I think I'll feel like a grilled salmon. Yeah, that looks really good. And it has just the description of everything. We also have a couples quiz that you can choose. If you and your partner want to go out to eat together, it'll match up the suggestions for you to see what foods you guys both have available to you in your suggestions. Let's choose a dessert. We can just skip all of these. There's a lot there. Yeah, we'll skip that. I don't really have a preference. Maybe like frozen, hot. All of these look good. Oh, sweet, of course. Yeah, these all look really good. Now it's partner two's turn. So the category, it goes for both people, and you can pick through these. Maybe my partner, wants some cake, chocolate, cookies, all these good things. I don't really have a preference, no protein, please, for my desserts. These all look really good. So we'll just skip these. So many good questions, and let's get our suggestions. We have 10 matching suggestions for the partners. So we can look through here. All these look good. And yeah, let's check out the random feature is really cool. So we have a random dish generator, and you can either choose a completely random dish, you get a suggestion. This one's a snack, you know, appetizer, dessert, more desserts. There's entree, entree. It has a description here. Very cool. Or you can categorize by the different types of meals. So yeah, I just want an entree, want a snack, dessert, appetizer. Love that. And let's see. We have a menu feature where you can look at all the lists of foods. You can even filter by the different preferences. Maybe I want to do like, maybe something like cheese. Yeah. So we have really cool options. You can view the details and it'll show you all of that good stuff. You can either, to get out of this menu, you can press escape on your keyboard, or there's an X right here as well. Very cool. And you can also choose these. If we want to look at the restaurants, there's so many restaurants. These are restaurants that are in Guam. So very cool. Anybody in Guam can use it. And you can just see by restaurant name or cuisine style. You can look at ROA, all their items on their menu. Really cool. And that's pretty much it. I'm very proud of this application, and one thing that I want to take a look at, I'm very proud of like this quiz and the couples quiz section. This actually, I went into it not really knowing how I was going to implement this feature, but I ended up using a bunch of conditionals, and there are a lot of nested conditionals. It's very cool. It took me forever. And one of the things that I actually added in later was selecting multiple options in the quiz. And so it was very tricky. I had to separate two of the functions that I had. Before it was, what's it called? This handle next question was together with the this part, the set or yeah, it was like just combined. It was so tricky, and I finally got it and it worked perfectly. Also, this couples show, it was just so crazy. After I created it, it was just the most code. It's so cool looking at it. That's something that I'm very proud of because that's very lengthy. And yeah, if I were to expand on this, which I really want to, I would love to put more data, more restaurants into the back end. And I would also love to add like an authentication where users can sign up and log in, and they can kind of customize their food suggestions. Like you can add if you have allergies, if you don't like a specific food, that's really cool. You can like basically create like a user profile and have suggestions based on your personality or your self, you know? And yeah, thank you so much for listening to my presentation and viewing my website. If anybody wants to go over the code, I'm more than happy to do that. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lana. Honestly, super amazing. And there's so much going on. Can't imagine what it was like to kind of juggle all of that. I don't really have any questions because I feel like you covered it all. But One thing I do want to let you know is as soon as you deploy this, I promise you, Cami and I will use this like the day
Yeah.
that you do, because we're
I'll be
constantly
using
trying
this
to
all the
figure out
time.
what to eat. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So super excited to see where it goes. Thank you so much, and for a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you, Anna. Cool. And so next up we have Jess Fernandez or Jessica Fernandez. So feel free to take it away, Jess.
Let me just make this full screen. Okay. What is an half day, everyone? My name is Jessica Fernandez. I am part of the 2025 CSG pilot cohort. And today we have an app called Clocked Out. And Clocked Out is basically a personal leave tracking app. I think it goes beyond the typical leave tracking app that you would see in like a typical workplace, or if they do even have that, usually when you go into your settings, you just know how much leave that you have. Um, but yeah, so let's go just start by, oh, well, real quick. What makes us different is that let's go say you have a potential vacation that you want to take or potential commitment, whether it's a wedding, blah, 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 XYZ. Now you can actually project whether you actually have the leave balance for it instead of always guessing. So let's go create an account. So let's go make CSG. Let's make that CSG. CSG at test.com, CSG. And we would have to put in a start date, but within the start date, or if you don't have the start date for your work, it's okay. Let's just put in today and we can always edit that later. Create an account. We have successfully created an account, thank God. CSG at test.com, CSG. Now let's go log in. So this would be the dashboard, but for the purpose of this demo, I kind of wanted to put everything into one page so we can kind of view everything at once. So as I mentioned before, we have a settings page and we can just update this. And if you actually know your start date, we can edit it here. But if not, that's fine. We can always hard code how much leave balance we actually have. So let's go just do save changes. But as you can see at the top, oh, let's go refresh. It updated. But let's go back to that thing where if we don't know when our start date was, we can actually add our leave balance. So let's go do annual. We have about 120. Either used hours is 0. Let's go add that. Great. Now let's go do the same thing with sick. We just put whatever, right? And 0. Add balance. Refresh. Cool. That's a lot of leave. So, but let's go say we actually figured out what our start date was. So for me, I started my job last year, July 1st. And let's go save changes. Let's go refresh. And now we have our calculated leave balance. So what's really cool about this is that when you ask for a start date, it automatically creates your leave balance as well as your leave balance for annual and sick. So typically for most workplaces, it would be a 4 hours per pay period. But let's go say you actually, how do I say, you actually accrue more than that, you can always change it to 6. So update. Oh wait, let's go and make this bi-weekly. Oh, and we also can like choose the accrual period between weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, however the place you're working out does it. So to do bi-weekly, update, let's go refresh. And you can see here that it completely changed or it recalculated it. But I want to go back. Let's go to 4. Cool. Now, let's go account for other types of leave. So at my work, I do comp time. And I do a lot of comp time. So now I have 34.5. And let's go, it's obviously with comp time, you don't accrue it at a rate. It's just a one-time accrual period. So I'm going to put that. And it updated. Great. That is so great. Now let's go refresh and we'll see it at our leave balance here. Cool beans. But let's go say it had calculated this, but you actually used some of your leave, but you didn't. Why would you put in a leave request for a leave thing that you already used? Like it just doesn't make sense, right? So let's go edit our sick leave because I took sick leave whenever I did. Let's go make a typo, a pretend typo. Maybe pretend typo, add balance. Oh, no, I put 9. I was supposed to actually put 8. Ah, gosh, dumb. Oh, let's go update our balance. Awesome. Wait, refresh. Now it is correct. This is so amazing. But let's go say, no, I fucked up. I didn't mean to put it for sick. I was supposed to do it for annual. Let's go reset that, reset it. Now it reset. I was actually supposed to do it for annual, but I'm not going to do it because, yeah. Now let's go do our leave request. So I am currently on leave for annual. Today's date is the 9th. I'm going to do it for beginning 8 because I didn't go in today, obviously. 8 o'clock. And my end of my leave is the 19th at 5 o'clock. So this is military time. Okay. So we need to get used to that, guys. Military time. Submit a request. It gives us the summary of our request. Great. Let's go refresh. Okay. But as you can see here, is the status says pending, and it doesn't affect our leave balance at all, right? But oh, scare me. Sorry, I'm scared. Okay, let's go change our leave balance let's go change our leave status to approved. Great. Now that it's approved, we refresh again. And because it says it's approved, now it's affecting our leave balance. So now we're using 56 hours of our leave. And now we only have 32 hours of leave left. But shit, oh shoot, edit that out, Leon. Oh no, I want to request for leave in November. Like, I need leave. Oh my gosh, I really need leave because I really want to go on this next trip with my friends. Let's go do annual. Okay, I want to go in November. I want to go on November 14th at 8 a.m. And then I want to come back on November 24th at 5 p.m. because I'm not going into work on the 24th. I'm going into work on the 25th. Okay, so submit another request. Hey, close. It just keeps doing that. Sorry, guys. Okay, again, it's pending. Now let's go do approved, right? Great, it's approved. Refresh. No, I have negative 24 available hours, but why? Why do I have negative 24? It's because the accrued hours is only accounting for the current leave that I have right now in this very moment. But how do I know I'll have enough leave? Oh no, how do I know I'll have enough leave by November? I'll show you. This is the great thing about so I am going to go to November 14th. Let's go update my thing. And yes, not only do I have enough leave, but for the leave that I've already taken, right? But this 28 hours is showing the leave that I have left after the leave that I took in November. So I can actually extend my leave in November for 28 more hours. Or I can take another trip to Japan in Labor Day. Or Korea. Or the Philippines. The world is your oyster. The world is your oyster. And that is why this app is amazing for you. If you're like me and you're always looking forward to trips, I literally have 5 trips planned this year because I'm
gonna go on, I'm gonna try and go everywhere. But yeah, if you want to use this app, I hope to deploy it. And what I would, oh, I'm going off script. Let's go to the technical stuff. Okay. This was crazy, guys. It was crazy. This wind surf, it's the most amazing thing in that's ever been made, honestly. Okay. So this is basically simple algebra. Yes, I could have done this on Excel. Yes, I could have wrote it on a Post-it note like I've been doing, right? But no, we're software developers, okay? This projected leave balance, you'd think that the leave request one was the most hardest thing, but no, it's this projected leave balance. And that is why people don't have it in their other apps, because they don't want to go through this headache. And I did it. But anyways, did this, blah, 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 basic stuff, right? And it's basic algebra where you have current available, which basically means your current accrued minus your past used hours, right? But aside from all of this, these two are the ones that gave me the headache. Why? It's because the way I programmed my leave status, because I didn't want any leave to affect my balance, it specifically had to affect my leave balance that was either approved, active, or completed. And it ties all, or like groups all of them together and makes them into integers. And then, well, basically, yeah, it just pulls all of them together to make it so that it turns into this simple algebra. But there's nothing simple about this, as you think. And then another one that I'm pretty, this one's like, it's like, gives you like kind of like butterflies, because like I love math and it gives me butterflies. This is the one. When you calculate a future accrual, basically it'll be till the future, which sounds so poetic, but it's really not. It's just the future date minus the date today, and then you turn that into an integer, and then whatever your pay or whatever your accrual period is, you would do like biweekly is 14 days, monthly 30 days, blah blah blah, XYZ. Anyways, that's pretty much it. What else? What was my script? I was just so passionate. I went off script. Ang Nasuzuas Moasi. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. And what I would want to work on my project is obviously styling. After that, I would want to account for holidays so that we can strategically do our leave or make a vacation. But yeah, thank you. I'm done.
Thank you so much, Jess. I absolutely loved the whole project, but I most especially loved the story. I think that was probably my favorite part of it. Um, on a serious note, though, I think this application is absolutely amazing. I think it's super cool, and it's something that everywhere that I've worked, I haven't had something like that. I've never known at big companies, small companies, whatever, I've never been able to know how much leave am I going to have at the end of the year. A lot of times it's even been to the point where it's like, I don't even know how much leave total I have throughout the entire year, period, even if I don't use any. And so definitely, I promise you, you keep working on this, you put it out there. As the Code School of Guam and Shimizu Technology grow, we will be your first or one of your first clients. And even Cami was just saying she would want that where she's working as well. So for real, it's amazing. And I like how you connected it to math and all that kind of stuff. And really the story, that was really like amazing storytelling. So great job for real. Thank you so much. I don't even have any questions. You kind of answered all my questions. Really cool. Thank you so much. And next up, we have Charles Hambley, all the way from Molesso. Feel free to take it away, Charles.
Bonus and half a day, everyone. My name is Charles Hambley, and then just to go back on our question of the day, I've found like an answer of who I would hire, it is for sure a UI designer because I struggle. That was one of my things. I was like trying to figure out like what colors was good to use. I even resorted to like I said these are my favorite colors, and then like can you give me colors to chat GPT? Another complimenting to it. But welcome to my application. Named it My Life Sync. So uh the problem that I wanted to address is like, you have productivity apps and then you have like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, but then you go on your phone and it's like, oh, I have to go to this app for notes and then I have to go to this app for my bank account information or a budget tracking or you're trying to do calorie tracking. So I was trying to put like multiple apps on one. So if you go to about, it just keep you daily tasks. So the main features that I have is tracking your income and spending habits. You manage your daily tasks, you see if it's completed and date and time or dates that you have it. I also have a dashboard once you have a login and sign in into the application and also a time zone converter. So let's say, for example, that you want to know what time is it going to be like maybe in the next few weeks from now at a certain time and date. You just input your time and date and it will convert to the time zones. So let me just walk you through it so you can see. So first we're going to sign up. So we're going to do, let's say, Pat, and then we're going to do S3 with the password. And then we're going to sign up. So, and then we're going to go into our login now. So we're going to do test 3 and then we're going to log in. So here, like it puts you to the dashboard, which gives you a small summary. And it says like welcome. So this is over here is like a small task summary, and this is a budget overview. So we don't have anything currently right now. So let's go to tasks right now. So let's just say that we need to finish our CSG capstone right now. And then let's just say project presentation. Category is going to be for school. And then we have a due date tonight. And we're going to just add the task. And it is incompleted. So let's just say like, oh no, I didn't capitalize the G. So we're gonna go back to edit, and then we're just gonna edit that. And we just put final. So we could just put save that, and that is right now what we have on our list. And then let's just say we actually had to do capstone capstone push to GitHub. And we'll just say for school again. And the due date was actually like on the 8th, but we did complete this task since we are able to see. And then if we leave anything out, I'll say please enter a field. So let's just say front end portion. At the task end, you can see there's a small icon that says it's completed. So we'll go to the next page, which is our budget tracker. The overall budget. So let's say we have our paycheck today. And we're just gonna guesstimate about the same, like we say we made 1,200, categories work. And since today is a Guam payday, we'll say we got paid today. Guam payday. And then set add. Yeah, the paycheck plus. So there's our overall budget that we have so far. And then the total income and total spend. But I also ate at, I got acai bowls today. And I spent like, let's say about $20 for 2 of them. So this is a food cost. And then that was on the 8th. And then we got them at Mighty Purple. So we add it together, then it shows indicate that like, oh, red card for like, oh, you spent this much money. And then you can see like keeping track of how much you have in total. So $20 to spend, and then your income over here. So then you can go ahead and edit, and then like maybe you actually went out and ate with your family. So just like family outing. And then you actually went to Mighty Purple, and then you went to Mosa's, then maybe Carabao Brewing. I don't know, and overall you actually went and spent like let's say we'll say $150 for all those three restaurants. Save that and it will update to what you spent. And then one of the last key features is a time zone converter. So let's say like you have a meeting or you're gonna be leaving the place to like go to Korea or somewhere in the States. So let's say I'm gonna be arriving, let's say I'm gonna leave on the 17th at 9 a.m. Oh, yeah. And then I'm gonna be here in Guam, but I'm gonna be moving to let's say East Coast side. So and convert the time, it was like the time over there currently when you leave here would be this time, but at the 16th instead of 17th, since they are a day behind. I know we'd be arriving at the nighttime over there. But let's say it says we're arriving from let's say LA, and then we're going to like Honolulu, and we're gonna convert the time. So if by the time we get to 9 a.m. over in Los Angeles, it'll be the 1 p.m. over in Honolulu. So since we added some task and budget, if you go back to our dashboards, and it will show us on the task summary, like, oh, pending one, because you didn't complete it, which is a CSG capstone. And then completed is this push to GitHub. And then the budget overview, like total budgeted is how much you gained or how much money you have income, and then the total spend is how much you would be going. And for my technical part, like I would say was a time zone converter was one of them, because I had the date time function and I was trying to figure out how come over here, like this was the thing that helped me the most here, because I was trying to figure out the weekend was Rails was sending it as in date time format, which had the long chain, which is a date and time, which is over like 13 like characters, and React does not read date time in that specific format. So I had like first one I was doing was splicing it all the way, but when I spliced like off some of the numbers, like because it was counted in milliseconds and that, it was like, oh, you can't read it out this way. So after doing some research, I found this string for date time in this format. So this actually tells when you put it in this format, it gives out the one as you saw, like the year, month, day, and hours time. And then you can also specify on the seconds, and if you want the milliseconds, but or time zone for the Z. But for the React side, I ended up just like cutting it at just the time zone so you can tell where you're at. And then another one was the authentication. Like I was like, oh yeah, it was a good thing. Like 1 week before, I was like, oh, Monday's like, oh, I finished like the main things, like and finished the budget, I finished the task, and then I finished the time zone. And then so I was like, oh, what's a good one? And it's like, oh, maybe I do sign up. I was very naive and not thinking. I was like, oh, it's gonna be easy. No, I had to go back and I had to make a user's controller and then a sessions controller. But then I had to go back to each to the models and also adjusted like, oh, it needs to belong to user, needs to belong to user. I also needed to download the JWT files for the gem. So there's this was for the time zone one, but and then we also go back to over here to the React side. And then I started with like maybe I only had like 10 pages, but after putting the authentication and putting for each one, now I have over like like over 20 now, because I would have to make a separate one for a guided route. Like I could just show you on my main, JSX. I had the router. So it says for these paths here are the ones that are public, which you saw, which was the home, the about page, login, sign up. And then once you sign up, you can see the other pages. But let's say, for example, the budget and tasks, like I already have like one, two, three for in the page one, and that's just setting up the pages themselves, the different web links, and then I have the two in the components for their logic. For like for next steps, I was trying to think like what are some other useful add-ons for the application, like maybe like put a budget and analytics like chart instead, so like you can see like if it's up and down, like how's your budget spending for your goal, or maybe even put on reminders and notifications for like especially the reminders or the task parts, so that like, oh, it's upcoming date, and eventually maybe do third party apps, like you can sync it with your calendar, like with your the tasks especially, or like reminders, so that it's you just need to go in one app and it's like, would you like to add it to your Outlook, your Google Calendar, and something like that. But yeah, that's the meat and bones of my capstone project.
Thank you so much, Charles. And I want to say personally, thank you for that time zone converter. I promise you, kind of similar to everything else, I guess, in general, but I promise you, once you put that up, that's something that I've been wanting. And so I promise you I'll download or put this on my phone or whatever. Because being able to know what time it is, Guam time, somewhere else on a specific date is kind of something that's really important to me. Like if I'm scheduling a meeting with someone in the States. And so when you asked me that stuff, like, oh, what else could I do? And I was like, oh, that's exactly what I want. And then you did it. I think that's so amazing. So for real, great job with that. And super proud. And this is amazing. Thank you so much, Charles. All righty. Next up, we have Adriana. So Adriana, please take it away. Feel free to share your screen and take it away.
Hello, I'm Adriana Pangilinan-Lett, a part of the Code School of Guam's 2025 pilot. And the application that I actually ended up building, I named the Weekly Dish, and it's essentially an app that helps users create and save meal plans. And so when we look on the website, you have your homepage. It tells you the title of the application, a little tagline for users to get hooked on. Simplify your cooking week, plan every breakfast, lunch, and dinner with ease, and spend less time wondering what's for dinner. I went ahead and threw in a call to action section where you can create an account to access your meal planning tools, and it gives you the option, if you're already a member, to log in. It gives you just a brief overview on the homepage that what this application is about. So it's about meal planning and organizing your meals for one place for the entire week. And about recipe collections that you could save your recipes and access them at any point, whether you're at the grocery store, you're at home, or at somebody's house and you had a really good meal. So let's go ahead and create an account. So I'm going to click sign up and I'll just create an account from here. I'll put my name. I'll put a@test.com and put a password. And I'll sign up. And I'll go ahead and log in. So right now you're on your meal dashboard, which I associated to view all meals. Right now I have none because I haven't added any yet. So I can go ahead and add a meal. So we'll call this chicken pesto pasta. Salad. And category, I'll make it for lunch. Day of the week, today is Friday, so let's make it for tomorrow. And description, like if you want to write down the ingredients, how you make it, the steps to making it, or if you're lazy and just want to pick one up from Infusion, you can write that in your description and it'll create. So all your meals will show up here with just the name, the category, and the day. But let's say you want to find out more info, or you do end up wanting to save money and make it yourself. We can go back into more info. We'll see everything that we can edit and edit that description. So it's tricolor rotini. with spinach, if I can spell correctly, and a pesto aioli. We'll update that. It goes back to the view all meals, but you'll see that everything has been updated. My favorite thing about this application, even though it's very simple and clean, is that when you click on About, you'll find out more information, and you'll see in the Home and the About section that call to action function is gone. So if you find out more about the weekly dish, I just wanted to say why I created this app and how it works for each individual that decides to use it. So we'll go into welcome to the weekly dish, just welcoming the user to your application and why I created this app. So like I said earlier, I created this application because I really had no time to focus on meals and focus on food, and I wasn't nourishing myself enough. Thankfully, I'm on a meal plan right now, which gives me my meals every single day of the week. But prior to that, I was just going at it like a meal at a time, figuring out what I'm going to eat, when I'm going to eat it, with no real plan in place. My favorite thing about this is that I've actually been using it on my self prep for this week, which means that I make my own food, and it lets me see everything that I need. I'll go into the description and see those recipes and save my favorites. And my favorite thing is the personalization of categorizing your meals. So if we go back to my view all meals page and more info, it doesn't just have to be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. If you want to assign it, let's say, snack, you can do that. It doesn't have to be set to an individual area. And I'll go ahead and log out, and I'll log into one of the ones I built earlier. So my favorite thing, this is a function, or not a function rather, but I initially had it so that everyone can see every meal inputted, and I edited that in the code, which I'll show you soon. But these are this user's meals, and I will never have access to another user's meals. And I'll go ahead and break out into my code. So the way that I ended up doing if you look at the right hand of the screen, I had to run a couple migrations, and it was fine. Boop, 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 boop. And it was fine. Basically, I had to change the table to include having each meal reference a user's ID. Make sure that each meal belongs to a user and you cannot access that. But what I'm really, really proud of was that call to action function in the beginning. So if I click on, sorry, I'll just move this out of the way real quickly. But if I click on this, when you're not logged in, this little box will appear saying you can create an account or sign in. But when you do log in, and I'll log in just as a test, that call to action function is removed. So the way that I was going about it originally was having this section, let me get in there real quick, having this section attached to my main home container. And that was fine. But the issue was like, if a user's already logged in, I don't want them to see it every single time. So I had to do a little bit of research, and this is what I ended up thinking through. So where you place this in your code does matter, because it's where it shows up when you look at your home screen. And so this is a code block, which displays my call to action section that I labeled CTA. What this does, it uses an AND operator. So if auth is falsy, meaning that a user is not logged in, you can go ahead and see that call to action function on the home and the about page. Now, if it's truthy, when a user is logged in rather, nothing inside of that code block will be displayed. And some things that I really want to work on is like right now I'm on a meal plan and I get these little paper menus. And instead of having me receive those paper menus, create an admin user that can make these meal plans and send it to another user in order to see your meal plan and have it all updated. Another thing that I really wanted to work on was having photos for each meal that you posted. So let's say you created this recipe and you wrote it out and you want a picture reference of it to see if that's really what you want to eat that day. A user can go ahead and edit that description and upload that picture. Another thing that I really wanted to work on was letting users share recipes or meals with another user. So that, let's say, like, hey, my boyfriend right now is not with me, but I created this really cool meal. I can write out the entire recipe, the description, and take a picture so that if he wanted to make it for himself wherever he's at, he can make it. And the last thing I really want to work on is creating a mobile application for it, where there's a lot of things that I need to research and I'm willing to do it. That way you can have it on your phone as an application that can send you reminders like, hey, this is when you need to eat. And then the last thing I want to do is take into account fasting times. Because I'm fasting around 18 hours a day. Put a time where you can start eating that meal and then a time where you can stop eating dinner and have those notifications sent out. Thank you guys for paying attention to my little application, and I hope to improve this in the future.
Thank you so much, Adriana. Sorry. I think this one really hits home for me as well because my diet's absolutely terrible. I'm eating fried rice right now and some more fried food. So I definitely could use this. And the other reason to me this hits home is because my capstone presentation, however many years ago, was also a meal plan generator. It was different, but it was also kind of something similar. And so this really hits home for me. So I really love it. And I love all the functionality you have in it. I think it's super cool. And definitely, once again, kind of same thing, everyone, but I really mean it. Like, as soon as you put it up, I promise you I will use it. And I really like how you kind of connected it as well to kind of what you're doing currently, with that meal plan with that business or the doctor. And so I think that's super cool. And especially all the different ideas that you have for, setting the intermittent fasting and stuff like that. I think those are actually really like solid ideas that I think are super valuable. And I can't wait to see it in action and try it out. Again, like I just keep mentioning that, but I actually mean it. That's why. So for real, amazing job. And also I think it looks amazing. Actually, I think it looks really cool. So great job with it all. All right. And thank you, Adriana. Next up, we have Noah. So Noah, please feel free to share your screen and take it away.
All right, off a day. My name is Noah, and welcome to my application. Uh, so like issues or problems that I have in like my everyday life is just booking appointments to get my haircut. Um, Most of the times when I do try to call the salon, they never answer. They're always busy doing whatever they're doing. And even when sometimes I try to walk in to get a cut and they're just fully booked and it just sucks. So my goal is just to create an online booking service for a salon. And yeah, my application is called Cosmic Beauty. And it's yeah, exactly what I said. It's an online booking service that uh books an appointment rather fast, easy, and convenient. So let's go ahead and go through it. This is my homepage. My homepage just gives you the services that this salon provides, and you're able to book your appointment on this homepage. And I also have other pages for the stylists and appointments, and I have an about page. So let's get right into it. So my stylist, I didn't create a stylist yet, but we could go ahead and add your first stylist. And it's rather easy. You just inputting a name and an email. So name would be like Leon, And then the email will be like Leon, filtering our email. And pretty straightforward. It created a stylist. And with this stylist, I could go ahead and book an appointment with this man. And this is the booking information, pretty much his name, number, email, uh, time you want, date you want, and stylist. So let's say I want to book appointment, and I'm entering all this stuff. And my stylist is Leon. And then I'll just choose any day that's in the future. I made it to where you can't go back in the past. And yeah, stuff like that. So let's say I want a haircut on Monday the 12th. And then here, just pick my time that I wanted. I also made it to where my times was only from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. But the duration of the appointment is an hour long. So 5 p.m. would probably be like the cutoff. So you close on time. Let's say 9:30 a.m. I want to at 9:30 a.m. I book an appointment. And it should be booked. So I have it right here, appointments with Leon, May 12th at 9:30. And let's say someone tries to book that same appointment. Say like Charles wants to get a haircut too on that day at that time. It should not be able to book it. We'll do 12. And see right here, I said 9:30. So 9 a.m. and 9:30 are gone. So an hour after that would be the next available time slot. So you could just choose any time after that. It'll automatically get rid of the appointment books. And yeah, you got the schedules booked, and you're able to cancel it if you want to cancel it. And then let's move on to my about page. My about page just pretty much simply just describing what it's about. A little brief summary of why you chose us, and then I have like business hours and then location and contact information. And yeah, that's pretty much my capstone. One of the cool feature I have, or my favorite features I have, is just this dark mode and light mode. Any application I go into, like once I see this, I just play around with it. I'm more of a dark mode type of guy, so I'm always on the dark mode. And it works for every page. So it's cool. And yeah, the toughest obstacle that I had building this application was just figuring out time zones, time to make the appointments. In my back end, I had to set parameters where it's like Chamorro standard time, but at like 9 a.m. to like 6 p.m. So it took me a while to figure that out. And I just had to literally just input Pacific Guam or Chamorro standard time uh only available pretty much. And so the reason why I created this app was because my other half, she's currently going to cosmetology school over at GCC, and I kind of wanted to connect what she wants to do or what she loves to do and what I'm starting to love to do, and I just bridge that together pretty much. And I love getting haircuts. I love a nice fade. I have a little big beard that needs to be groomed every like week. So haircut grooming is a top priority in my everyday life. And future goals for this application, I would say right now I'm currently right now doing uh rescheduling an appointment. That's what I'm working on right now. And then another goal that I'm setting for myself is different types of services for the appointment and breaking it down to haircuts, waxing, nails, pedicures, or dyeing, yeah, stuff like that. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Noah. I genuinely, I love how like kind of the story behind why you did it is because of your other half, because of Megan, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm super happy with how far you came with it. It was just the other week where we're like trying to figure out how to properly handle the appointment because, as you know, there's a lot that has to happen when you're trying to figure out what is the availability and how to calculate that. That's something that I'm even working on my side with some of the stuff I'm working on, and so now you know kind of how much work goes into trying to figure that stuff out, and I'm so proud you're able to figure that out. So that's super cool. And
Definitely,
yeah, no, go.
it's definitely a headache, trying to make
Yeah,
sure it doesn't even cross over, like certain appointments or reservations don't cross over and yeah.
exactly. And the other thing I quickly wanted to say is I agree with the kind of the other reason that you booked it. With like, a lot of times you try to call, maybe they're too busy. Try to go in person, they're too booked or whatever. Like you like kind of like hit or miss. And so this is one of the things that actually I was starting to build when I first started like kind of the software side of my company as well, is because I think it's so convenient to be able to book it online. It's like it's just something that I wish and I hope that every company has. And so I definitely look forward to hopefully seeing this thing continue to expand. And if you're able to get, Megan's business and every other hair stylist and stuff like that, that'd be so cool because I would use it every single time that I get a haircut, Cami gets a haircut, Stassi gets a haircut, etc. So not great job for real. And I think also it looks nice. And I love the dark mode. Dark mode is me as well.
Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Noah. And now we have Damon. Damon, please feel free to take it away and share your screen.
All right, hey everybody, my name is Damon Wilbacher and I am from the pilot class and I built Auto Diagnostic System, or you can say ADS for short. And this is an app that basically just helps with basic car maintenance. And my app helps first-time car owners figure out what might be wrong with their car because it's really useful in many situations, especially when you want to take your car to a dealership and they're going to charge you $100 for a diagnosis for something that's so simple. But yeah, right here it says, add your car to our library, select the category for your diagnostics, answer the questions to the best of your knowledge, and you'll get your results. So let's get started. And my friend, let's say he owns a Toyota Tacoma. So let's put in Tacoma. And right there, renders in the image of his truck. What year? We'll say, obviously that's a new one, so 2024. Manufacturer, Toyota. So we'll add that car, add it successfully. And when we manage, we'll see our Tacoma is right there. So let's go start in diagnosing our vehicle. Select our Tacoma. And he was telling me that something wrong with his engine. So we'll select engine. And he was telling me he has a maintenance required light. So for this question, I'd say yes. Has he driven more than 5,000 miles? I'd say so. He goes all over the place. Not running as efficiently? Yes, I would say so. Is there a burning smell? Maybe not. Sitting undriven? Definitely not. This guy drives every day. His fuel efficiency has definitely dropped from all the driving around the island. Engine definitely makes a louder noise. So, yeah. And then our final question, does he use it for any recreational activities, off-roading, racing? Honestly, he uses it for everything. So we'll say yes. And let's submit our form. And let's wait for a diagnosis. So as you can see, it says there is an issue, and it has said that this vehicle does require an oil maintenance. And the description here says, your engine oil needs to be changed. Please visit your dealer. And your statistics, it records, you received this result because you answered to majority of the questions, 6 out of 8. And for anything that stems deeper than this, you need to contact right here, these two numbers, and that's for a dealership on Guam for both Toyota and BMW. But let's go back to diagnosis options and select the car. Let's add a new car actually, because I have another friend, but he doesn't own a Toyota. He owns a BMW. So I'll put 3 Series. Right there, there's his car. 2023 BMW. So let's add that car to our library. And look, now there's our Tacoma and our BMW. So let's go diagnose that one too. And he was telling me something's wrong with his tires. So yeah, let's see. Does your car shake a lot going over any bumps? Yes, for sure. Definitely with a car like that. Potholes, you're bound to. It's Guam, so of course there's going to be a lot of potholes. Does your dash display an orange circle with an exclamation point in the center? Yes. Any nails, screws, or debris lodged in the wheels? No. He was telling me there's nothing. Any hissing noises? Definitely not. Does his car feel offset, unbalanced? He was telling me yes, so we'll put yes. Next, is his car struggling to drive through areas that were easy to drive through before? Yes. And does his car pull to one side while driving? Yes. And we'll submit that. Let's see our result. Right here, see, so it says tire pressure light. His tire pressure light is on and needs to go to the nearest area to inflate his tires or inspect his tires for any damage. And once again, he's getting this result because he said yes to 6 out of 8 questions. And now that's 2 cars, but I have another friend. And this guy, ooh, this guy drives a big truck. So we'll put, he drives a Tundra. So let's put Tundra. There's his truck right there. 2023 Tundra or 2023. Let me change that. By Toyota again, added to our library. And when we look at our library again, we got our 3 cars now. Diagnose. And we'll say it's his battery because he was telling me that his vehicle, yes, it does have a hard time starting. So we'll go yes. Next. And his headlights, he was telling me they are kind of weak. They're not as bright as usual. And you know those new trucks have those really bright white lights. So yeah. And does his car not start at all? No, he hasn't experienced that yet. Does his windows go up or down slower? Yes. Does it display a battery light? Maybe not. Green powdery deposits? No, this truck is still new. Foul smell? Once again, this truck is new, so I doubt it. And does he have to jumpstart his car in order for it to start? He hasn't told me any of that, so I don't think so. Let's submit. And there's no issues detected. Apparently, his vehicle should be fine for now because he only answered 3 questions. He only answered yes to 3 questions. So yeah, that's how my diagnosis works. And we got managed cars here. Let's say my friend doesn't want his car to be on this app anymore. Let's just go to delete. Do you want to delete your car? It's gone. And let's say I put in the wrong year for his truck. Let's edit it to 2023. Update 2023. And yeah, so, and we'll go to my about page. My about states, yes, this app was built for first-time car owners. And my disclaimer, this app was only built to diagnose simple vehicle issues. And should you have any issues that stem deeper than the 4 listed, please reach out to a professional mechanic for further assistance. Down here is my reach out tab. So now the 2 things that I did struggle with on this app initially was definitely API routing. So if we go to let's go to my backend real quick. So right here, we'll go to my routes. All right. So in my front end, I have to actually create so many Axios requests to the back end for certain routes. And I ran many-to-many associations on 5 models. So you can imagine how much typing that takes, how much has to figure out. So right here, I have to put, there's so much category, selected category, and diagnosis prompts. So it really was a pain trying to figure it out because at first I thought I was doing everything right, but then I had to tear down the entire back end just to figure all of it out. It was honestly really very tedious, but I'm really glad I made it out because I'm so happy with this end result. So let's go to my backend and we'll see the routes and all the models I created. Oh, let's see this. So right here, we'll go to my schema and we'll find everything. So right here, I created cars, categories, diagnosis, diagnosis prompts, and manufacturers. So with those 5, I have categories linked to diagnosis and diagnosis prompts. So there's 3 different routes I have set up for that, and we'll go take a look at my routes now. So I would have to, at first I thought it would just be resources, but then I figured out there had to be category filtering. So in order to get all these different diagnoses and prompts, you have to do certain routing like this. But yeah, and then also another thing that I struggled with was definitely just adding my bonus features to this, especially the rendering of the picture when you add a new car or just load up a car. That one wasn't really my main goal, but I figured I wanted to do it and make my app look so much nicer. So everything here I have to hard code at first. So I have my manufacturers coded here in a const, but when you do select it, it sends the information to the backend as the ID, not the name, because I do have manufacturer set to an integer. But for the picture, if we go, let's see. Oh, right here, sorry. In vehicle management, right here, we have the URL. Let me see. All right, guys, right here. So I have my function for all my images here, and I stored images for all the models that I wanted to add into this front end. So this is also an attribute to one of my models. It's called image URL. And so when a car is created under the certain parameters of these names, it'll insert this. So whenever this car is pulled up, the image will show up with it too. And these are not case sensitive. So let's say you type it in all lowercase, you'll still get it. So let's go test that out actually. So Corolla, all lowercase, it's still there. Now let's try it out with a capital C right there. So everything here I made case sensitive. So I had to use .trim actually as well, because when you create an item and you have a space, that could error out. So I used .trim to make sure everything was perfect and that when it got sent, there was no errors. And then let's see. Another one of my issues as well was data not being printed thoroughly. So my front end would actually receive all the data from the back end, but my front end just could not extract it and print it to the best of its ability. And I would get blank pages most of the time. So I had to set up a function just to get every single form of the data here. And eventually I was able to get a printout after doing the right syntax, because my data type was an object. But yeah, those are definitely my 2 big struggles, but yeah. So I chose to build this app because outside of my software engineering journey, I do work at a car dealership in the service area. So learning in both of these fields did inspire me to implement both fields into one another. And I also did this because I noticed a lot of people I knew did not know as much about vehicle maintenance. So this app helps give pointers and reminders of what they need to do to make their vehicles last longer. And my 2 future goals for this app is to add more dynamic features, because as you can see in my backend and front end, some things are hard coded, but I want to make this very dynamic so this can manage any manufacturer, any model, and render any image for any car. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask, but that concludes my presentation.
Great job, Damon, for real. I actually had a bunch of questions, but you kind of covered them. Like one of them was like how you're rendering those images right away. That was actually really cool. I'm happy you kind of went through that. That's super cool. And I think in general, this is a super cool application that I think I genuinely am not saying this just to keep saying this, but if you put this online, I will 100% use it. And I know you're right there, almost done with deploying. So as soon as you have that up and running and it's like a little bit more dynamic, I'm right there because I'm not good at keeping up with my car's information, and I need some help with that. The other thing I quickly wanted to mention on this kind of note, real quick, while I have you, is I really like how you kind of stayed true to kind of you and what you do this entire course. I know there were times you're like, oh, you're saying you're building another car thing, but I think you should be proud of it, and I think it's super cool how like throughout the course, you're working at AK, you're building something, and you're kind of connecting both of your worlds in the sense of like you got programming, you have your maintenance side, and you're kind of connecting them both together. And so I think that's super cool and something to be really proud of. So great work for real, Damon.
Thank you.
All righty. Um, Cool. Well, thank you all very much. I want to say like all of you guys should be very, very proud of everything you did. Like for real, like from the bottom of my heart, like I'm so proud of you guys. And that's not me coming as an instructor. That's me coming as like a viewer. Because I just kind of got to see both all of you guys' presentations pretty much all first time. Because I never throughout this past couple weeks I haven't got to see it. So um for real, I think you guys have done an amazing job. And if you really think about it, like you guys did this in 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks, this whole course was like 4 months. You guys were able to get all of this work done in 2 weeks. So, imagine the next couple weeks, imagine the next month by the end of the year, etc. And so I can't wait to see, how far all of you guys go. And I'm just really how proud of you guys and super thankful that you guys let me be a part of your journey as you guys grow as programmers and software engineers. Um, I guess I kind of want to open the floor to see if you guys wanted to say anything before we kind of end this live. All right, cool. No worries. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody who joined the live. Appreciate it. And we're gonna go ahead and end this now. Thank you guys. And this will be live later, so you guys can all read.